It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. People are decorating their homes. The mood is ripe with expectations and festivities. But what is the real meaning of Christmas? To give us information, we have Pastor Mansi Jesan. She is joining us from her home. Let's welcome her to the show. Thank you so much for joining us, Pastor Jason. How are you today?
Hi, Molly. I'm doing good, and thank you for having me on your show. I hope you're doing good too.
All right. So, what is the real meaning of Christmas?
Um, there are so many different explanations that people could give, but as we all know, it's a time when people get together and, families have their reunion during this time. And in a sense, I think it is the true meaning to be reunited. And that's what even God was trying to do, I think, when he sent his son Jesus Christ on this earth, because sin has separated man from God. And in a sense, yes, Christmas is about that reconciliation, that reunion of man with God.
Hmm. Okay, what a great meaning. But there are many viewers who don't fully understand some of this information. So, why did God have to send His Son? Why was
Um,
that necessary?
it is necessary, and it's important for us to understand it and not just have blind faith or believe in Jesus without really understanding what he's done for us. The reason he sent his son is because all of us are sinners. And when I say that, people might think, oh, we are accusing mankind to be criminals, but that's not the case. Sin, if I have to explain it in the most simple way, is disobedience to God. And we all do that. Even a small child is known by his nature. For example, a child doesn't learn to lie. A child doesn't learn to mock other children when they fall, for example, to giggle over it, or things like that. When they do something wrong and the parents find what they've done, they try to make excuses. So this nature is something that we have inherited, but learning to be good can take a lifetime. We take time to teach our children to be good. So sin, disobedience, lying, selfishness, these are the things that we have inherited from birth. And God is dealing with that sin that mankind has. And because God is holy, he has to make a way for us to come to him, because we on our own cannot do that. And so he sent Jesus Christ in flesh, and he came as a man. And so he paid the price for us. He became a substitute for us. Since sin is in our blood, he had to shed his blood, his pure blood, so that in that exchange we can have eternal life in him.
Okay, so God is God and He can do anything. Why did He have to come down to earth? Why couldn't He do whatever had to be done from heaven?
That's because when God created man, he chose to give man something which is called free will. And I thank God for that. He did not create us as puppets, as, computerized creatures. He gave us a choice. And man, out of his choice, could obey or disobey God, can worship or not worship God, can choose his own way. And unfortunately, man chose the wrong way. And so God is trying to interfere in our lives, through his son, and give us that invitation to choose the right way again. It's literally a second chance that we have, so that we will not perish. We will not face the consequences of sin, but then we will have the grace of God, the mercy of God, and have eternal life in Jesus.
All right, so uh, the meaning of Christmas, and this is such a great story, right? And for the last 2,000 years, people have been celebrating this great event. And this was publicized by God Himself,
Yes.
by putting this star in heaven, and people came from different parts of the world. Why was it necessary for it to be known all over the world?
It is definitely important for the whole world to know because salvation is for all mankind, and God is the God of all mankind. He has created each one of us. God created man, and man has created religion, is trying to create their own gods. But the truth remains, and we cannot divide God with religion. And so it is important that the message of salvation, the message of the gospel of Jesus Christ, is declared in the whole world to every creature, because that is created by God.
Okay, so the message is for the whole world. Is this message relevant in the 21st century?
Of course, the Bible cannot be outdated ever. It's the most up to date, document, if I could call it. And if sin exists today, if man exists today, then for sure this message is absolutely relevant.
All right, so if there's somebody who's watching this show, what would you like to tell them? Perhaps they're disappointed. Christmas is also a time where a lot of people are depressed. Authorities tell us this is a time when most suicides also happen. And with COVID, a lot more people are not going to be able to perhaps come home or travel or do the things that they normally do. So, depression is going to be a little bit of an issue around this time, perhaps a little bit more than ever before. And if there's someone who's going through that right now, what would you like to tell them?
First of all, I want to just highlight that Christmas has just one message, and that is the message of hope. And so I would encourage everyone to not lose hope, first of all. Secondly, for those who are celebrating this season alone, I would like to remind them that the true meaning of Christmas is Christ. And so maybe, He has allowed this time in our lives so that we will spend it with Him, the real reason of Christmas. So I would just encourage everyone, that contemplate these things that, we've just discussed today, and take it to the Lord in prayer, and maybe you will find that peace and new hope.
All right, well, there you go. So if you're all alone by yourself and you're not going to be with your family this year and you're feeling depressed, as you heard the pastor say, there's no reason to be depressed. And so there's always hope. Perhaps this would be a great opportunity to spend some time alone with the Lord. And you can always reach out to your friends or your family over the phone, and people are just a phone call away. Thank you so much for being here and giving us this valuable information on Christmas.
Thank you for having me, Molly.